I asked to open our marriage to date my coworker. I didn't expect him to agree, pack his bags, and move in with my sister. I need to tell you what I did because I'm sitting here in my apartment 3 weeks later and I still can't believe how spectacularly everything fell apart. My name's Sloan. I'm 31. I coordinate events for a mid-sized conference center, and up until a month ago, I thought I had my life figured out. Married 5 years to Donovan, a civil engineer who's methodical about everything from his morning coffee to how he folds laundry. Good guy, stable, reliable, boring. God, I know how that sounds, but you have to understand, we'd fallen into this routine where we were basically roommates who occasionally slept. Sunday meal prep, Netflix binges, his work stories about load-bearing calculations, my work stories about bridezillas and last-minute venue changes. Rinse and repeat. Then Colton started at my office 4 months ago. Sales manager, 34, the kind of guy who leans against your desk and makes direct eye contact when he talks. We clicked immediately. Started with work stuff, vendor negotiations, client meetings, but it shifted. Late night texts about nothing important. Inside jokes. That electric tension where you're both dancing around something. I felt alive again. I know what you're thinking. Just leave your husband, right? But it wasn't that simple. Donovan and I had history. Shared finances. A lease. His family loved me. My parents adored him. Divorce felt messy and permanent. So I started researching. Open marriages. Ethical non-monogamy. All these articles about how modern couples don't have to be confined by outdated relationship models. How you can explore connections with other people without destroying your primary partnership. It made sense. I could have stability with Donovan and passion with Colton. Best of both worlds. I spent 2 weeks rehearsing the conversation. Planned it for a Thursday night because Donovan's always in a better mood after his Thursday evening gym session. Made his favorite dinner, chicken parmesan, garlic bread, the works. Poured us both wine. He sat across from me at our small dining table, fork in hand, completely oblivious. I've been thinking about us, I started, keeping my voice level, about our relationship and where we're going. He looked up, chewing, nodded for me to continue. I love what we have, the foundation we've built, but I think we've fallen into a pattern where we're not really growing, individually or together. Donovan set down his fork. His expression didn't change. Okay, I've been reading about different relationship structures. Ways couples stay together but also give each other space to explore other connections. It's called ethical non-monogamy, and, you want an open marriage. Not a question, a statement. My throat went dry. I think it could help us. Let us rediscover ourselves without losing what we have. 10 seconds of silence. I counted them. He just stared at me, his face completely blank. I couldn't read him at all. Then he smiled. Not a big smile. Just this small, knowing curve of his lips. Okay. I blinked. Okay? Yeah, if that's what you want. Okay. Relief flooded through me. Really? Just like that? Sloan, I'm not going to force you to stay in a relationship that doesn't make you happy. He picked up his wine glass, took a sip. You're right. We should both be free to explore. I actually laughed. Nervous energy. I thought you'd need time to think about it or... Donovan stood up, pushed his chair back, walked past me toward the bedroom. What are you doing? I called after him. He didn't answer. I heard our closet door open. Drawers sliding. I followed him to find him pulling a duffel bag from the top shelf. Donovan, what? You wanted an open marriage. He started packing. Jeans, shirts, his toiletry bag from the bathroom. I'm giving you space to explore. My heart started hammering. You don't have to leave. We can set boundaries, figure out rules. I think clean space is better. His voice was calm. Too calm. Like he was discussing a construction project. You do your thing. I'll do mine. Where are you going? I'll stay with a friend. He zipped the bag, grabbed his work laptop from the desk. Take all the time you need. I stood in the bedroom doorway as he walked past me, bag over his shoulder. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. He was supposed to be resistant but understanding. We were supposed to negotiate, set parameters. He stopped at the front door, hand on the knob. Donovan, he turned back, made eye contact. That same small smile. Take care, Sloan. The door opened, then closed. I stood in the suddenly silent apartment, my unfinished wine still on the dining table, his half-eaten chicken parmesan going cold. I'd gotten exactly what I asked for. So why did I feel like I'd just made a massive mistake? I called him the next morning. He picked up on the third ring. Hey, so, last night was a lot. Can we talk about? I'm at work, Sloan. Can't really do this right now. My stomach twisted. Tonight then? I'll text you. He hung up before I could respond. The text came 6 hours later. Staying at a buddy's place downtown. Need some space to process. You wanted this, remember? Yeah, I did. I pushed the guilt down and opened my messages with Colton. So I talked to my husband. We're trying something new. Open marriage. 3 dots appeared immediately. Then, seriously? Seriously? Holy crap. When can I see you? I smiled at my phone for the first time in 24 hours. Tonight? I'll pick you up at 7. That first week was intoxicating. Colton took me to this Italian place across town where nobody from work would see us. We didn't have to hide anymore. Well, not from Donovan anyway, but it still felt deliciously secret. He ordered wine without looking at the menu, made the server laugh, kept his hand on my thigh under the table. I've been wanting to do this properly for months, he said, leaning in close enough that I could smell his cologne. Not just texting, not just the occasional lunch. Really see where this goes. We went back to a hotel. One of those boutique places downtown with the exposed brick and the ridiculous thread count sheets. He was attentive in ways Donovan hadn't been in years. Asked what I wanted. Paid attention to responses. Made me feel like the only person in the world. I floated through the next few days. Afternoons at his place when he worked from home. Long dinners. More hotels because neither of us wanted to complicate things by going to my apartment yet. He texted constantly. Good morning messages. Random thoughts during the day. Late night calls that stretched past midnight. I tried calling Donovan once that week. Thursday evening, exactly a week after he'd left. Yeah? He answered on the 5th ring. Just wanted to check in. See how you're doing. I'm fine. Busy with a project. You good? Yeah, I'm good. Where are you staying exactly? You said downtown but, with a friend. Look, I'm about to head into a meeting. Was there something specific you needed? The dismissal stung. No, just, wanted to talk. We can talk later. Take care. He hung up. I stared at my phone. He hadn't asked how I was doing. Hadn't asked about the apartment or bills or any of the logistics of our separation. Just take care again, like I was an acquaintance he'd run into at a coffee shop. I told myself that was fine. That was what I wanted. Space. Week 2, things shifted. Colton was still attentive, still passionate, but I started noticing cracks. He was always vague about his schedule. Never available on weekends, family stuff or prior commitments he'd say. When I suggested meeting his friends or grabbing drinks with his coworkers, he'd deflect. Let's just keep this about us for now, he'd say, pulling me close. I don't want to share you yet. It sounded romantic. It felt like a red flag. Then there was the jacket. We were in his car Tuesday night, heading back from dinner, when I saw it in the backseat. A woman's denim jacket. Small. Definitely not mine. Whose is that? Colton glanced back without missing a beat. Oh, that's my sister's. She left it last week when I gave her a ride. Your sister? Yeah. Why? You've never mentioned a sister, haven't I? He smiled, squeezed my hand. Guess it never came up. She lives across town. We're not super close. The explanation was smooth. Too smooth. But I let it go because I didn't want to be that person. The jealous, paranoid person who questions everything. I tried Donovan again that night. Straight to voicemail. I left a message. Hey, it's me. We should probably talk about, I don't know, ground rules, boundaries? Just call me back when you can. He didn't call back. Day 14 fell on a Saturday. I woke up to sunlight streaming through the bedroom window and immediately reached for my phone. Sent Colton my usual good morning text with a coffee emoji. By lunch, nothing. I tried not to spiral. He was probably busy. Maybe his phone died. Maybe he was with his mysterious family doing mysterious weekend things he never explained. By dinner, I called. It rang once and went to voicemail. My chest tightened. I texted, hey, everything okay? Delivered. Read receipt showed he'd seen it at 7:43 p.m. No response. I waited until midnight. Sent another, did I do something wrong? Delivered. Read. Nothing. Sunday morning, I tried calling from my work phone. It rang normally, meaning he hadn't blocked that number yet. He didn't pick up. I texted from there, Colton, you're scaring me. Please just tell me what's going on. 10 minutes later, I tried calling again from my work phone. The number you have reached is no longer in service. My personal phone showed the same thing. I checked social media. His profiles were gone. Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, all deactivated or blocked. I sat on my couch in my empty apartment, staring at my phone screen showing our last conversation. Those 2 blue check marks next to my unanswered messages. He'd blocked me everywhere. 2 weeks of passion and promises, and he'd just vanished. I tried Donovan's number with shaking hands. The voicemail box is full. Please try again later. The apartment felt suffocating. I'd lost Colton. I couldn't reach Donovan, and I had absolutely no idea what the hell was happening. Monday morning, I called in sick to work. I couldn't face the office. Couldn't face seeing Colton's empty desk or fielding questions about why I looked like I'd been crying for 12 hours straight. Because I had been. I spent the morning doing what any rational person does when someone ghosts them. I went full detective mode, called the main office line and asked for Colton's extension. The receptionist put me on hold, then transferred me to HR. I'm sorry, who's calling? Sloan. I work in events. I just needed to ask Colton about a client meeting Mr. Hartley is currently on administrative leave. I can transfer you to his supervisor if you need assistance with a client matter. Administrative leave. My mouth went dry. No, that's okay. Thank you. I hung up and stared at the wall. Administrative leave meant something serious. Something HR level serious. I drove to the office anyway, parked in the garage and took the elevator up, wearing sunglasses indoors like I was in witness protection. Made it to my desk. Tried to look busy. Gemma from marketing stopped by my cubicle around 11. Hey, she perched on the edge of my desk, voice low. You doing okay? Why wouldn't I be? She gave me a look. Sloan, everyone knows you and Colton were close. My face burned. We were just friends. Right, friends. She glanced around, then leaned closer. Look, I don't know if anyone told you, but his wife showed up here Thursday afternoon. Made a whole scene in the lobby. Security had to escort her out. The floor tilted. His what? His wife. Apparently she found texts on his phone. Lots of texts. To multiple women. Gemma's expression was pure pity. She was screaming about how he'd been cheating for years, how she was taking everything in the divorce. It was brutal. HR put him on leave pending an investigation into workplace conduct. I couldn't breathe. He told me he was single. Yeah, Gemma squeezed my shoulder. He told everyone that. I'm sorry. I left work at noon. Drove home in a daze. Colton was married. The whole thing had been a lie. The hotel rooms, the romantic dinners, the late night calls, all of it while he had a wife at home. I'd blown up my marriage for a married man who'd ghosted me the second his wife found out. I tried Donovan's number again. Still full voicemail. Tried texting. The messages showed delivered but never read. I pulled up his work email and sent a message there. Please call me. I need to talk to you. It's important. No response. I drove to his office. The receptionist recognized me, smiled politely. Donovan's been working remotely this month. Some project out of state. Did you need me to leave him a message? Out of state. He hadn't mentioned that. Hadn't mentioned anything. No, thanks. I went home and did something pathetic. I posted on social media. Nothing direct, just a photo of our apartment with a vague caption. Missing better days. Tagged him. He untagged himself within 5 minutes. Didn't comment. Didn't message. The next 3 days were a blur of increasingly desperate attempts at contact. I called mutual friends. They were awkward, evasive. He's dealing with a lot right now, Sloan. Maybe give him space. Space. Everyone kept saying space. Like I hadn't literally asked for an open marriage and watched him walk out with a packed bag. Wednesday evening, my phone rang. Mom. Relief flooded through me. Mom loved Donovan, but she was still my mother. She'd help me figure this out. Hey, Mom, how could you do this to him? Her voice was ice, sharp and cutting in a way I'd never heard directed at me before. Do what? Mom, I don't play stupid. Sloan, your husband called me, told me everything. About your open marriage. About you wanting to sleep with other people while he waited at home like some kind of backup plan. My stomach dropped. It wasn't like that. I just wanted us to explore. She spat the word. You wanted to have your cake and eat it too. Well, congratulations. You got what you wanted. Mom, please, I made a mistake. The guy I was seeing, he was married, he lied to me, and now I can't even reach Donovan too. He's been staying with Ivy. The world stopped. What? Your sister? He's been staying with her since you kicked him out. I didn't kick him out. He left. They've been spending time together. A lot of time. Talking. Supporting each other through this mess you created. Mom's voice cracked. And yesterday he proposed. No. She said yes. The phone slipped from my hand. I could hear my mother's voice, tinny and distant, still talking, but I couldn't process the words. My little sister, Ivy, 27 years old, always looked up to me, always asked for advice about guys and jobs and life, wearing an engagement ring. From my husband. I picked up the phone with numb fingers. Mom, that's not. They can't. They can. They are. The wedding's in 6 months. You're invited if you can manage to act like a civilized human being. She hung up. I sat frozen on my couch for maybe 10 minutes. Then I grabbed my keys. Didn't put on shoes. Didn't grab a jacket. Just walked out of my apartment in sweatpants and a tank top and got in my car. I don't remember the drive to Ivy's apartment. Don't remember parking or walking up the stairs. Just remember standing in front of her door, my fist pounding against the wood hard enough to hurt. The door opened. Ivy stood there in yoga pants and one of Donovan's old college sweatshirts, the one I used to wear on lazy Sundays. And on her left hand, catching the hallway light, was our grandmother's engagement ring. The ring I'd admired my entire childhood. The ring Mom had always said would go to me someday. On my baby sister's finger. What the F is that on your finger? The words came out strangled. Ivy looked down at her hand like she'd forgotten it was there, then back at me with something that wasn't guilt. It was defiance. An engagement ring. Her voice was steady. What does it look like? I shoved past her into the apartment. She stumbled back but didn't try to stop me. Donovan's jacket hung on the coat rack. His work boots were lined up neatly by the door. The coffee table had his laptop on it. His reading glasses folded on top of a stack of blueprints. He lived here. My husband lived in my sister's apartment. Sloan, Ivy started. How long? I spun on her. How long has this been going on? Since you told him you wanted to sleep with other people. Donovan's voice came from the hallway. Calm. Measured. Like he was commenting on the weather. He walked into the living room holding a coffee mug. Barefoot. Wearing sweatpants and a t-shirt. completely at ease. I couldn't breathe. You're sleeping my sister. I'm marrying your sister. He took a sip of coffee. There's a difference. Are you insane? Both of you? My voice cracked. This is sick. She's my baby sister, Donovan. We grew up sharing a bedroom. I taught her how to drive. And I was your husband. His expression didn't change. Past tense. You made that pretty clear 2 weeks ago. I asked for an open marriage. I didn't ask you to sleep with someone in my family. No, you asked to sleep with someone from your work. He set down the mug. Let's be honest about what happened here. The room tilted. What? Colton Hartley, sales manager. Started 4 months ago. You two have been texting since June. Meeting for coffee. Those late nights you said were client emergencies. Donovan crossed his arms. I'm not stupid, Sloan. I'm a civil engineer. I assess structures for weaknesses. Ours had been failing for months. My mouth went dry. You knew? I figured it out about 6 weeks ago. Your phone face up on the counter. His name lighting up at 11 p.m. with a winky face emoji. He shrugged. I could have confronted you then. Could have made a scene. But I wanted to see what you'd do. So you waited for me to ask for. I waited for you to be honest. His voice stayed level. And you were. You told me exactly what you wanted. Freedom to explore. To be with someone else. So I gave you that. Ivy moved to stand beside him. Not touching, but close. A united front. He called me that first night, she said quietly. Needed somewhere to stay. Somewhere away from the apartment. Away from memories of you. I stared at her. And you just, what? Decided to steal my husband? I didn't steal anything. Her jaw tightened. He told me everything. How you'd been distant for months. How you'd been coming home smelling like someone else's cologne. How you'd stopped wearing your wedding ring to work. My hand instinctively went to my bare finger. I'd taken it off in August. Told myself it was because it got in the way during event setups. You were gone before you ever asked for the open marriage, Donovan said. I just made it official. By proposing to my sister? My voice was shrill now. That's not moving on. That's revenge. No. He met my eyes. Revenge would have been messy. Revenge would have been telling your parents about Colton before you did. Revenge would have been making this difficult. He gestured around the apartment. This is just me choosing someone who actually wants me. I wanted you. You wanted stability while you slept with someone exciting. His tone didn't rise. Didn't waver. You wanted me to wait at home while you figured out if the grass was greener. That's not wanting me. That's wanting a safety net. Ivy's hand found his. Their fingers interlaced naturally. Like they'd done it 1,000 times. I wanted to scream. To throw something. To make them hurt the way I was hurting. How long? I whispered. How long have you been together? Donovan tilted his head. Define together. Don't play semantic games with me. The first night he stayed over, we talked, Ivy said. Just talked. About you. About what happened. He slept on my couch. And then? She glanced at Donovan. He nodded slightly. Then we kept talking. Every day. He'd come over after work. We'd make dinner. Watch movies. He was hurting. I was. I'd always thought he was a good guy. Better than the men I usually dated. So you made a move on your sister's husband. So I was honest about my feelings. Ivy's voice hardened. Something you clearly struggle with. The cruelty of it hit me like a slap. My little sister. The one who used to follow me around. Who cried when I left for college. Who called me for advice about everything. She'd taken the one thing I'd thrown him away. Donovan checked his watch. I have a meeting in 20 minutes. You should probably leave. Leave? This is my family. And you're welcome at the wedding. He walked past me toward the bedroom. 6 months from now. Mom already has the date. We're keeping it small. Family and close friends. I watched him disappear down the hallway. Heard the bedroom door close. Like I wasn't worth another second of his time. Ivy moved to the front door. Opened it. Stood there waiting. You can't do this, I said. My voice sounded desperate even to my own ears. You can't marry him. He's my husband. Your ex-husband. She looked at me with something close to pity. The divorce papers should arrive tomorrow. He filed last week. Cited irreconcilable differences and emotional abandonment. Ivy, please, you wanted someone else. You got him. For 2 whole weeks before his wife found out. Her expression didn't soften. Donovan wanted someone who chooses him every day. He got me. Everyone wins. This isn't winning. This is, goodbye, Sloan. I stood in the doorway. Behind her, I could see into the living room. See Donovan's life scattered throughout her space. His books on her shelf. His shoes by her door. His coffee mug on her counter. He'd moved on. Completely. Does it matter? Ivy asked softly. I looked at her. What? How long we've been together? If it was that first night or the second week or yesterday, does it actually matter? She leaned against the doorframe. You stopped caring about him months ago. You just didn't want anyone else to have him. That's not, isn't it? She straightened. You made your choice, Sloan. He made his. Now you have to live with both. She started to close the door. Wait, does Mom know? Dad? Do they know you're marrying my? Everyone knows. The door was almost shut now. They're happy for us. He's a good man who deserves someone who sees that. The door clicked closed. I stood in the empty hallway, staring at the number on her door. From inside, I heard Donovan's voice, muffled. Then Ivy's laugh. Soft and genuine. The kind of laugh I hadn't given him in months. I walked back to my car, sat in the driver's seat. My phone buzzed. A text from Mom. Family dinner Sunday. Donovan and Ivy will be there. We'd like you to come. It's time we all moved forward. Another buzz. Dad, this time, your mother told me what happened at Ivy's. Whatever you're feeling, remember this is still family. Act accordingly. A third buzz. The family group chat. Aunt Helen, congratulations Ivy and Donovan. We're so excited for you both. 2 hearts emoji. My cousin. Wait, isn't Donovan married to Sloane? Ivy's response. Not anymore. Long story. We'll explain at Sunday dinner. I watched the messages roll in. Congratulations. Heart emojis. Questions about wedding dates and venues. I scrolled up through the chat history. Found the messages from 2 months ago about my 5th anniversary with Donovan. The same family members who'd celebrated our marriage were now celebrating his engagement to my sister. And no one was questioning it. No one was on my side. Because I was the one who'd broken it first. I didn't go home right away. I drove around for an hour. Maybe 2. Lost track. Eventually pulled into a gas station parking lot and just sat there with the engine off, watching people pump gas and buy lottery tickets like the world was normal. My phone kept buzzing. The family group chat was in full wedding planning mode now. Aunt Helen suggesting photographers. My cousin asking about bridesmaids. Mom coordinating Sunday dinner logistics. No one asked if I was okay. No one defended me. I finally drove home around 10 p.m. Parked in my usual spot. Walked up to the apartment in the dark. The door was unlocked. My heart jumped. Had Donovan come back? Was he here to talk? 2. The living room was different. His bookshelf was gone. The leather chair he'd inherited from his grandfather. Gone. The framed photo of us from our honeymoon that used to sit on the side table. Gone. Even the stupid ceramic bowl we'd made together at that couple's pottery class 2 years ago. Gone. He'd come while I was at Ivy's and taken everything. On the kitchen counter, held down by the salt shaker, was a manila envelope. I knew what it was before I opened it. Divorce papers. Already filed with the county clerk. Grounds. Irreconcilable differences and emotional abandonment. He was asking for a clean 50-50 split of assets. No alimony. No drama. Just. Done. There was a sticky note on top in his neat handwriting. You can sign and mail these back, or I can have a process server deliver them to your work. Your choice. D. Even in divorce, he was being efficient, considerate, giving me the option to avoid public embarrassment. I slid down the cabinet and sat on the kitchen floor, papers scattered around me. My phone rang. Dad. Sloane. His voice had that disappointed tone, the one I'd heard exactly 3 times in my life. When I crashed his car at 17. When I dropped out of grad school. And now. Your mother told me you went to Ivy's place tonight. Dad, this is insane. You can't actually be okay with your sister finding happiness with a good man? He cut me off. Why wouldn't I be? He's my husband. He's your ex-husband. Because you wanted to step out on your marriage. Dad sighed. Sloane, I love you. But you don't get to blow up your life and then get angry when other people pick up the pieces. She's my sister. There are rules about marriage too. You broke those first. His tone softened slightly. Come to dinner Sunday. Be civil. Be family. That's all we're asking. He hung up before I could respond. Work the next day was hell. Everyone knew. About Colton. About his wife. About the screaming match in the lobby. About me. I kept my head down. Tried to focus on a corporate gala we had scheduled for next month. Gemma avoided eye contact. Other coworkers suddenly found reasons to be elsewhere when I walked by. At 2 p.m., HR called me in. Sharon from Human Resources sat across from me with her tablet and her sympathetic but firm expression. We need to discuss maintaining professional boundaries. I didn't know he was married. That's not what this is about. She pulled up something on her screen. We've had complaints about unprofessional conduct, personal relationship drama affecting workplace morale, and given Mr. Hartley's administrative leave situation, we need to ensure. Are you firing me? No. But we're issuing a formal warning. Any further incidents and we'll need to reassess your position here. I nodded numbly. Signed the form she slid across the desk. Back at my desk, I checked my personal phone. 3 mutual friends had unfollowed me on social media. 2 had blocked me entirely. I texted Whitney, my closest friend from college. Can we talk? I really need someone right now. She replied an hour later. I heard what happened. With Donovan and your sister. And that married guy from work. I don't think I'm the right person to talk to right now. I hope you figure things out. Even Whitney. I stared at my computer screen until 5 o'clock, then packed up and left. I didn't plan to drive to Donovan's new place. It just sort of happened. I'd gotten the address from the return label on the divorce papers. A condo complex on the north side. Nice area. Mature trees. The kind of place we'd talked about moving to someday. I found his unit. 2nd floor. Knocked before I could talk myself out of it. He opened the door in workout clothes. Hair damp from a shower. Behind him, I could see moving boxes still stacked against the walls, but the place was already starting to look like home. Sloan, not a question, just acknowledgement. Can we talk? Please. He didn't move from the doorway. About what? About this. About us. About. My voice cracked. I made a mistake. A huge mistake. And I want to fix it. You can't. Donovan, please. You can't un-F someone. Sloan. His tone wasn't cruel. Just factual. And you can't un-ask for an open marriage. You showed me who you are. I believed you. But Ivy? The words tumbled out. My sister? That's not moving on. That's deliberately cruel. No. He leaned against the doorframe. Colton was cruel. He was married and lied to you. Used you. That's cruelty. Ivy is honest. She wanted me. I wanted someone who actually wanted me back. You wanted someone else. He shrugged. Everyone got what they wanted. I didn't want this. You wanted excitement. You got it. For 2 weeks, you had exactly what you asked for. His eyes met mine. I'm just doing the same thing. Finding what makes me happy. You don't get to be upset about that. We had 5 years together, and you were checked out for the last 6 months of them. He straightened. I need to finish unpacking. Sign the papers or don't. Up to you. He started to close the door. Wait. The door shut. Locked. I stood there for a moment, then heard voices inside. Ivy's laugh. Donovan's lower rumble in response. Footsteps. Then through the front window, I saw them. Ivy came up behind him, wrapped her arms around his waist, rested her cheek against his back. He turned in her embrace. They kissed. Slow, tender, real. Everything my marriage hadn't been in months. I walked back to my car, throat tight, got in, started the engine. A piece of paper fluttered on my windshield. I got out and grabbed it. A pamphlet for a wedding venue. Outdoor garden ceremony space. Beautiful stonework and flowering trees. In the margin, in Ivy's handwriting, save the date, 6 months from now, June 14th. Garden ceremony, family reception. Your family, so you should be there. Hope you can make it. Ivy, the cruelty was surgical. She wanted me there. Wanted me to watch her marry the man I'd thrown away. Wanted me to smile and play nice and pretend my heart wasn't being ripped out. And the worst part? I probably would go. Because the alternative was admitting I'd lost everything. 3 months later, I was sitting in a therapist's office on the other side of town. Dr. Yun didn't do the typical therapist thing where she just nodded and took notes. She called me on my crap. What did you actually want? She asked during our 5th session. I'd been explaining the whole situation again. How unfair it all was. How Donovan had moved on too fast. How Ivy had betrayed me. I trailed off. I wanted excitement. Without consequences. Keep going. I wanted Donovan to wait. While I figured myself out. The words felt like glass in my throat. I wanted him to be there when I was done exploring, and when he wasn't willing to do that, I got angry. I looked at my hands, like he'd broken some rule by actually taking me seriously. Dr. Yun leaned back. You asked for an open marriage. He opened it. What's the problem? He opened it with my sister. Would it have been better with a stranger? I didn't have an answer for that. The divorce was finalized in April. Quick and clean, just like everything else Donovan did. I signed the papers, mailed them back, got the official decree 3 weeks later. I saw Colton's divorce finalized around the same time. His ex-wife got the house, the cars, full custody. He posted something vague on social media about new beginnings before deleting his accounts again. I felt nothing looking at his profile picture. The man I'd blown up my life for was just some guy. Someone who'd lied convincingly and moved on the second it got complicated. June 14th arrived faster than I expected. I bought a dress, navy blue, conservative, showed up at the garden venue at 2 p.m. The ceremony was small like they'd promised. Maybe 40 people. I recognized everyone. Family, close friends, Donovan's college roommate as best man. I sat in the back row, and Helen gave me a tight smile. Dad squeezed my shoulder as he walked past to his seat. Donovan stood at the altar in a gray suit. Calm, confident. I'd seen that expression 1,000 times during our marriage and somehow never really looked at it. Then the music started. Ivy walked down the aisle in a simple white dress. No train, no veil, just her, radiant. Dad walked beside her, crying openly. She passed my row without looking at me. The ceremony was short. Traditional vows. Donovan's voice was steady. You saw me when I couldn't see myself. You chose me when someone else wouldn't. I promised to choose you every single day. Ivy's voice broke slightly. You deserve someone who knew your worth. I'm grateful I get to be that person. I promise to never make you doubt that. They kissed. Everyone clapped. I cried. Not for Donovan. Not really. But for the version of myself who'd thought she could have everything. Who'd thought marriage was something you could pause and resume at will. At the reception, I stayed at the edges, drank champagne, watched them dance. They looked happy. Actually, genuinely happy. The way Donovan held her. The way she looked at him. It wasn't performative. Wasn't revenge. It was just real. I waited until they'd cut the cake. Then I approached their table. Ivy saw me first. Her smile faltered. Donovan turned, face neutral. I'm not here to cause problems, I said quickly. I just wanted to say congratulations. And I'm sorry. Ivy searched my face for sarcasm. Found none. Thank you. You didn't steal him. The words hurt to say, but they were true. I threw him away. That's on me. Donovan nodded once. Not forgiveness, just acknowledgement. I left the reception before dinner was served. Drove home. Packed. I moved to Austin 2 weeks later. New city. New job with a different events company. Fresh start. I dated casually. Was honest about what I wanted, what I didn't. No more games. No more thinking I was smarter than basic human decency. 6 months after the wedding, Ivy posted a photo on social media. Her hand on her stomach. Caption, coming February. We're so excited. I stared at the photo for a long time. Felt a pang, but it was distant now. Like grief for something that happened to someone else. I commented, congratulations. Nothing else. She liked the comment. Didn't respond. That was fine. 1 year after I'd asked Donovan for an open marriage, I sat in my new apartment in Austin. Small. 1 bedroom. No memories. My phone showed photos from Ivy's baby shower. Donovan in the background, assembling a crib. Smiling. Present. Happy. I closed the app. Therapy had helped. Time had helped. Distance had helped. But the real thing that helped was finally being honest with myself. I'd wanted freedom. I got it. Just not the way I'd imagined. I'd wanted excitement without responsibility. Life doesn't work that way. I'd wanted Donovan to be my safety net while I jumped. He'd refused. And in refusing, he'd shown me exactly who I'd become. Someone who thought love was something you could shelve and retrieve at will. Someone who confused boredom with incompatibility. Someone who learned the hardest way that you can't reverse some decisions. I thought I was being smart asking for an open marriage. Modern. Evolved. I was just being selfish. Donovan didn't take revenge. He just refused to be my backup plan. And Ivy didn't betray me. She just loved someone I'd already stopped loving. The real betrayal was mine. To the man who'd deserved better. And to the woman I thought I was. I made dinner. Ate alone at my small kitchen table. And for the first time in over a year, I didn't feel the need to text someone. To chase something. To fill the void with noise. I just sat with myself. And it was enough. Not happy. Not sad. Just present. Learning to live with the consequences of thinking I could have everything. The end. Update. If anyone cares. It's been 2 years now. Ivy had her baby, a girl. I sent a gift. Got a thank you card. We're not close anymore. Probably never will be. But we're civil at family gatherings. That's something. Donovan and I don't speak. When we're in the same room, we're polite. Distant. Like acquaintances. I'm seeing someone now. A teacher. Steady. Kind. When things get tough, we talk about it. We don't look for exits. I don't know if it'll last. But I show up. Every day. That's the difference. Someone asked me recently if I regret what happened. Honest answer? Yes. Every day. But regret doesn't change anything. It just teaches you what not to do next time. I asked for an open marriage thinking I was being clever. I learned you can't game relationships. You can't have your cake and eat it too. And you definitely can't be mad when someone takes you at your word. That's it. That's the story. No happy ending. No revenge. Just consequences. And somehow, that's worse. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you really like our videos, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day.